where the ends of the pipe, you have this pipe in the middle, and it's all the computing is getting done at the very ends of the pipe, and nothing passes through the pipe is altered in any way. So that would be perfect net neutrality. And this is particularly important for a free exchange of speech, ideas, commerce. For example, if you decide that you can write a program or a protocol to improve the speed, and this is where we get into how it's really going to affect innovation in the long run. Okay? But if you guys were to decide that you can write a program or a protocol, and protocols are methods for transmitting stuff across the Internet. So if you write a protocol that's going to improve the speed and quality of video conferencing, it behooves the big telecom companies to slow you down and put all the roadblocks in their way as they can, because most of them supply video conferencing services. Yeah. So another part of that factor, another part of that situation, is that you need to know what standard protocols are being used for transmitting teleconferencing and how those protocols work so that you can increase their efficiency with your new idea for teleconferencing. So if you're blocked from getting the information about what the protocols are, or you can't, you're not going to be able to bring your new idea to market. Everyone suffers in that case except the telecom companies, who are making money off a soon-to-be obsolete service once your service, or if your service, ever sees the light of day. Okay, so that's really the wrap-up on net neutrality. But I do want to throw in a quick disclaimer here. In the examples that I made up, I randomly picked names. So okay. Nike and Macy's were two of those names, okay? Those companies have nothing to do with anything in the story, as I picked the names out of thin air. And on the other hand, in the reporting examples, I didn't alter the names, so Comcast and Verizon are two guilty parties. And lastly, yeah. I want to let people know that I've been a computer tech for 25 years. I went back to school 15 years ago to learn journalism. That's where I met you crazy cats.
Yep.
And I wanted to be a computer reporter. So to that end, I want to learn the best way to communicate this stuff, and I found out it's to make it as simple as possible. And to that end, I've taken shortcuts, liberties, poetic licenses in the discussion today. I've made omissions in the name of making the stuff understandable. I hope I have. But if you're a security guru at a giant corporation, I don't want you to niggle me to death about technicalities. Well, technically, this is not how it goes from here to there, and the cars don't go from Anaheim Stadium to Dodger Stadium. So take a hike, get lost.
Hit the off-ramp.
Yeah. Hit the off-ramp, exactly right. There's a lot of stations up and down the dial. Go find another one. Don't bother me. But the bottom line is that this is what they're using now. You can see where it can stifle creativity, where they're basically trying to privatize the Internet in an effort to start charging for everything that's going on. I liken it to your cable television bill, because the big question here becomes, as we said, actually for me the main question is, why is it that there's no competition in the cable television business? And it's baloney that the government says, oh yeah, well there's Dish and there's who's the other one? DirecTV. Yeah. They cannot supply high-speed internet because that information comes from a satellite, right. And we do not have the technology right now to have high-speed internet go bounce off a satellite and back down here. So they're not really competition at all. So that's issue number one. The other issue I have is, and this is the one that really points me. I think that a non-neutral net would go, and that's why do we not have a la carte cable television pricing? And that means, why is it that you're forced to take ESPN and Home Shopping Channel when all you want to watch is game shows or movies? Right. But to watch HBO, you have to get cable, and to get cable, you have to have ESPN, and you have to have other networks that are charging.
Yeah, you have to pick a package.
Yeah, it's all a big package bundle. Why can't you just go down a list of 40 or 50 or 100 stations, check mark off the ones you do the way you would in a sushi restaurant, and let them bring them to you to eat?
I've heard the excuses that they can't make enough money that way, and they wouldn't be able to provide the service overall. So I don't.
Well, I really sympathize with them, and I'm sure that that's a valid argument because Comcast in the first quarter of 2014 made, as in not revenue but profit, made $1 billion. So I'm sure they would not be able to survive on a la carte pricing.
And not after they're feasting on that, yeah.
So,
well, Mike, as far as it sounds like this is deals that is happening on the internet with companies dealing with each other, and it sounds like, of course, greed is always motivating decisions, make more money and more money, but as far as what's going on in Washington, it seems like they are leaning towards allowing this kind of thing to happen and continue and even sanction, instead of saying, hey, the internet was free, it was meant for everybody, let's put some controls here so this can't happen.
Well, the head of the FCC, Wheeler, I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, I think it's Jim Wheeler, as we mentioned before, was a lobbyist for the two giant cable companies. And what he proposed in 2010 was that we keep the internet completely neutral. He actually proposed that in 2010. I mean, Obama wouldn't hire him if the guy wasn't going to say that, right? So in 2010, he came out and said that the internet should remain completely neutral. And two of the telecom companies sued him and said that he didn't have the authority to make that determination. So in January of this year, the court agreed with, and I'm pretty sure it was Comcast who was in on that one. There were two big companies. I think Comcast was one of them. And they said that he does not have the authority to make that determination. So he's tried since to try to set up rules that would keep the internet open and free without stepping on the decision that was handed down by the court. Now, his big decision to make now, and this is the big decision, is to lightly control the internet the way it is right now, which is basically a pay-for-play type system. Or the alternative would be, and this is where the big giant companies that we've been talking about all afternoon here start quaking in their boots, and that's if the Wheeler determines that the internet should be declared a common carrier, which is what the phones are.
Right.
Phones are considered a common carrier. If they do that, then suddenly it all becomes moot because there's nothing that the corporations can do, and the government takes complete control and regulates the whole thing as far as neutrality goes. So the big corporations are, please don't do this. We'll play nice. We'll be nice. Don't worry about it. But the public out there is going, yeah, we've seen how they play nice in the past. Why don't we just go ahead and declare them to be a common carrier, and that will keep the internet open and free.
Well, in this day